You going to pay Jimmy Butler, Jaylen Brown money?
No.
That was fast and abrupt. I liked it.
Quite easy.
Yeah, Jimmy Buckets don't have the youth like Jaylen had. And I love Jimmy to death, but I don't think he's going to get Jaylen Brown money.
I don't think so either, but this is according to sources in Miami. Jimmy wants beyond Jaylen Brown money.
I want beyond it too. Am I going to get it?
Dude, we all want beyond everything. We're not owed any of this. This is from Ira Winderman, by the way, the Miami Sun-Sentinel. Said that after the Jaylen Brown deal made all these headlines, Jimmy, by the way, is due $48 million this year. He has a player option for 24-25 that's worth $52.4. So he's getting paid any way you cut it. He turns 34 in September. So if he's 35, if he doesn't take his player option, which I would be stunned if he didn't, let's say he's 36, and he's looking to make Jaylen Brown 26-year-old money?
No.
How you going to pay Jimmy Butler that kind of money at 36 years old?
No.
And I love Jimmy. I think Jimmy is a dog, man. He is so much fun to watch. He is aggressive. He's a good player. But I've heard all the stories about Jimmy behind the scenes, too. So even when you start to factor that stuff in, I don't know if that's worth it.
And if he wants Dame on his team, he's really not getting that fucking money.
Then you've got all kinds of problems. Yeah, now you're going to have to really share that basketball.
Yeah, you don't get that money, dude.
How does Jimmy right now?
Jimmy's 34. He'll be 34 in September.
Bro, you good making at the end of your contract making the 52.
52.4 in 2 years. By the way, next year's 48.8. So you're owed $100 million
in 2 years
over the next 2 seasons. What about that says I have to get paid more? Because Jaylen Brown got more? And I get it from Jimmy's perspective. I'm a better player than Jaylen Brown in my eyes.
I
can outplay Jaylen. I've had more experience. I've had more success.
It's about timing, and it's about when you're drafted, and as the league is going to go on, there are going to be a lot of guys who you say that you're better than that are going to get more money than you. Getting more money. This narrative about getting more money has nothing to do with somebody being better than somebody else.
Exactly right.
It has everything to do with timing.
But that's how every one of them view it.
And they're in the league, and they still view it this way. Y'all know that's not the way it works.
Yeah.
It's so weird. So many guys. It's like it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's always going to happen. It's going to keep happening. Because you know how many guys in the league make more than LeBron James?
Oh my God!
And they don't have a bigger draw. It's like so. It's just going to happen, and this is the way it is. Pretty soon, this is going to sound weird, but you got a teammate that's going to be making more than Jaylen. So
yeah,
like that.
Next year,
right?
Next year.
But see,
exactly.
You wouldn't gripe about Jason Tatum next offseason being the highest paid overall because does Jimmy think he's better than Jason Tatum?
Yeah.
I was going to say, in Jimmy's mind, I think Jimmy thinks he's better than almost everybody.
Better question
in the league.
is Jimmy. Do you think Jimmy Butler is better than Jason Tatum?
No.
No, Tatum is a better scorer.
Not right now, no.
Okay.
And I think Jimmy's great. Jimmy, he is. Man, he's phenomenal.
It's timing, guys. It's all about timing.
All right,
everything is timing.
Since we're on this conversation, I'm going to pull this point from another portion of the show here, but I want to move this over because we're in this conversation. Upcoming Supermax deals, because we just talked about this. So here you go. Ready? Here's who's coming up. 2024, Giannis is eligible for 5 years. $334 million. That's an average of $66.8 million.
That's Giannis.
That's Giannis. He will get it, and he deserves it.
No
question. He deserves it.
Let's move on.
Yep.
Jason Tatum, you just mentioned. 5 years, $334. He's due it. $66 million a season.
Yep.
He'll get it. 2025, Joel Embiid is eligible for a 5-year Supermax deal at $367. That would mean Joel would be making an average of $73.4.
He's the franchise guy.
A season.
Yeah.
At that point, if Philly has not won a title and has not really been in contention for a title, you still going to pay Joel Embiid that kind of money?
No. I wouldn't. And the only reason because you need to save some of that money to bring in someone to put with him.
You're going to have to do something.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it.
No, not at all.
But in
economics.
order to win, and plus we don't know what the CBA is going to be, whatever's coming up with that. But it's just going to be hard to. And it's so funny how we put everything on, championships and getting to the finals, and he hasn't been there yet. So it's like, okay, but did you give him this so he can, push him to get there? it's just a confusing thing for me. I don't.
Yeah.
To me, I'm like, yo, yeah, you worth it, but I can't give it to you, dog.
Yeah.
I just can't because you haven't taken us to the promised land.
But a lot of this also, the money that you're worth, like you said, it's not always about the titles. You also got to factor economics.
Yeah.
You have to factor that jersey sales, the butts that these guys put in seats. You know, owners are about, if it makes dollars, it makes sense. So if you're boosting the economy of the city, you may not have won. But if you're putting butts in the seats, if you the one that are selling merchandise and you're putting money in my pocket, I'm going to put money in your pocket. Because if I don't, what better is there out there? Yeah. Where are you going to go?
Right. But I mean, it's to Rob's point. If you give him all that money and he hasn't gotten you there, and you don't know if he's going to be able to get you there, and you have no available dollars to go out and get another point guard or another forward or somebody to play opposite him in some way, then what have you spent the money on? You've spent the money on him and the name and the namesake to try and get people in the building, but eventually that's going to come down. I mean, the less time you don't get to a finals or you're not a contender or you can't finish out an Eastern Conference Finals, you know, that money and that number, that return starts to diminish, you know? So, I don't know. All right, the last couple on my sheet for extensions. 2025, Luka Doncic is going to be owed the same. 5 years, $367 on a Supermax deal.
No question.
Luka makes $73.4 a season. I think Dallas does that. Mark pays him that money, right?
I think he does too.
Okay.
I think that is another Joel Embiid one right there.
See, I don't think yet.
Yeah.
I don't think yet.
I do.
Do you?
Like this year is going to be the telling year. If him and Kyrie can work together and they can make it to the playoffs and they can do some damage in the playoffs, and then we'll see. But that's right now. That's one that's like on the outside for me looking in.
Oh.
And because it's like certain guys. Is he worth it? Yes.
100%.
Does he get it? That's my whole point. It's like you just can't give it because the guy's worth it. You know, because at the end of the day, we all like to win. We all want to hold up that trophy. Mm-hmm. And if I keep paying you all this money just to, you know, keep you satisfied we ain't winning, my goal is not being accomplished.
That's true.
I'm failing. Each and every year you fail when you don't win a championship.
But and that's why I think a GM makes his money. Mm-hmm. And, you know, sitting down with the owner to determine, okay, yeah, we got this franchise guy in Luka, but looking at the numbers and looking at the Supermax and what he's going to be making annually, do we give him this because we know that he's worth it, but possibly put ourselves in a bind from doing anything else?
Right. Or
do we take our shot with possibly trading him or doing whatever, saving that money and sprinkling around other places to try to piece a team together? That's a difficult decision because now you got to deal with your fan base. It's like, okay, you try to trade Luka, it might be some smoke in the city in Dallas.
Oh, yeah. I think big time.
Get that over to your fan base. You tell that to your fan base and see how they react to that.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. You know, the fan base was getting upset at Luka for all the times he doesn't get back on defense.
You're right.
He's complaining to the refs. Mm-hmm. So the fans, Dallas fans, that's a city that's used to winning. And all of a sudden they're not winning, like,
they've won once.
No, I'm talking about Dallas as a city, not
overall.
as a team.
Okay,
overall.
The Cowboys ain't won since '95.
Don't bring the Cowboys into this conversation, y'all. Come on now, hold on.
I'm just saying the city likes winning. That's all I'm saying, man.
Well, every city likes winning.
Well, look, everybody. Dallas likes history. Everything they do is on the History Channel.
Oh.
Jerry Jones looked a whole lot younger.
That's cold.
I'm just saying.
I mean, it's not untrue. It's just cold.
The Lombardi Trophy was made out of different material back in 1995 than what it is in 2023.
Carved out of rock from the caveman.
Matter of fact, they sit their trophies in salt in order to preserve it.
All right, the last extension, Nikola Jokic.
Yes.
In 2026 is going to be eligible for 5 years. $404 million, making $80 million a season. And I think there is no doubt that he gets that from the Denver Nuggets.
He's going to get it, but to me, he reminds me of Yao. in the sense that his body ain't gonna last that long, man.
Dude,
I hope it does because I love watching him play. But to me, you just look at his body. It just
he's an aggressive player. You've said
yes.
That. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I think we had that happen with Shaquille even, where it's like there's only so much you can do to your body physically over an extended period of time before stuff just starts to give out.
How old is he?
Yeah.
Jokic is 26, I think. If I'm not mistaken.
Here's the difference that I see with him. And because we talk about how slow he is, but how his pace dictates everything. Because we've questioned, there haven't been many players throughout this history who have been able to move like he is and to be able to control the pace of the game and literally control everything. Because he's not a high flyer and his game is not predicated on speed, but it's predicated on getting the spots, knocking down shots, passing the ball, because he might be the best passing big man in the league. I think he can, with stuff like that, he can last a little longer than, say, somebody like Shaquille, whose game is predicated on power.
Yeah. 28, by the way. Joker's 28.
Those 2 years make a little bit of a difference.
They do. Because when he comes due for that $400 million, he's going to be 30 years old.
Yeah, it's tough. I just think because of his game, you got to start looking at some of these guys' game.
Yeah.
And look at it like, okay, your game is going to diminish because of where you are right now because your explosiveness is predicated on this or is predicated on that, whereas somebody else is predicated on getting to a spot or it's much more methodical than this guy over here. So he may last a little longer.
Right.
Well, I say that because he plays. He's not like a lot of these guys that take off. He plays. And it's a difference from him. Like, you think about guards. They go from top of the key to top of the key. This big is going from baseline to baseline, and he's bringing it up. People, it's not about him jumping; it's about the movements that he is doing on the court.
Right.
Bringing it up. Going to the basket, now having to get back. It's like things like that. It's like I think because bigs like him take more steps in a game than littles.
Yeah, they move.
And because you got to run out to the pick, they had to run to the basket. It's much more. It's little things like that. What I'm talking about, it's gonna wear on his body little by little. But I love watching him play. But I just want to know. I just hope his body holds up because he just reminds me of Yao, and he's just gonna eventually be like, okay, him, the Flying Dutchman, all these guys who don't take care of their bodies.
He's going to be able to hire some good doctors. He's going to have some money in his pocket. So I think he's going to make it work as best
he can do that now.
Sure. Yeah. Well, that's true. It's not like he's scraping
Did he
by.
just win some horse race and he was like dancing?
Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah, it was actually shirtless Nikola Jokic on my timeline this week. And I'm like,
let me ask
That's
something.
what I'm saying, right?
Let me throw something out there.
Uh-oh.
And this is not based off anything. Well, maybe off something. He is a guy, I think, that loves the game of basketball, respects the game of basketball, and has been very successful, obviously winning the title this year. But I also think he's a guy that has other things that he loves more than basketball, like his horses or other things, within his country that he may want to go back and do. Who's to say, and I know folk don't walk away from a ton of money often, but who's to say he's not the type of guy that says, you know what, this basketball thing is only for a finite period of time, and I might just want to go do some other things.
How do you walk away from $400 million?
I'm not, but he seems like the type of guy who...
How does anyone in any semblance of their life walk away from $400 million?
I don't know. I'm not saying this is based off anything, but he just seems like the type of guy where there's a level of contentment somewhere. When it comes to, hey, I've done this, I've done that, that's great, I'm leaving before, whatever. I got other stuff I want to do.
Yeah. I had a question since you brought that up, and that $400 million. Does the United States tax foreign athletes an extra tax for playing in this country?
That's a good question.
That is a really good question.
I don't know.
The reason I say it because, for this show, we had to pay a New Zealand tax. And I'm like, huh? And so I was just wondering, think about that, I know because we pay taxes as an athlete, you have to pay like in 5 or 6 other cities that you go in, not just the states that you play in. And so I wonder if this.
You ready for the Google box answer?
What's that?
Yes, any passive income earned by non-residents will be subject to IRS scrutiny. Passive income is usually taxed at 30%.
Wow. No wonder Dream became a citizen back in the day.
I do solemnly swear to uphold the laws and the tax codes of the United States of America.